Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. And today, for your Patreon cast, it's going to be a match between Solar and Astrea here on Golden Wall, the latter edition. Bottom right-hand corner, it is Solar. Bottom left-hand corner, it is Astrea. So Korea versus America here, which generally does not favor the Americans. But Astrea is a nice up-and-coming Protoss player who is American, and we'll see how he does here against Solar. Solar is not exactly a top-tier Zerg player, but he has one of the most Africa World events that I have cast with Laughin' Games. Africa World is basically the only time that I get to cast live Elite StarCraft, and if you want to see me do that, just look in the description for the link. It's africatv.com/laughingames. And it's a good place. It's a good place to be. I think we have good charisma. We complement each other pretty well. We have good analysis. We're funny, I think. We have a good time, and I hope everybody has a good time when they're watching too. We got, 300, 400 people watching out there on Africa. So I think that would be a good time for you to check it out. Anyway, Solar's going 16, 15, 14. No. 16, 18, 17. Yeah, there we go. Excellent job there. Astrea went for the 1-gate expand. Very safely. Did not get any scouting off at all. Just completely blindly doing this build. Which, man, if this was a 12 pool, I think Astrea would just straight up be dead, yo. I mean, yes, the probe would have some advanced warning that lings are coming across the map, but how do you wall this off in time? I guess maybe another gateway, but he doesn't have enough minerals for that necessarily, and it's a risk. It's a risk is what it is, but that's okay. This game is one of risks sometimes. So, this looks like hiding tech to me. That pylon placement's like, I want to put something in the bottom right corner, and I want the Zerg player to have a small chance to scout it. Although, this is Golden Wall, right? You're going to come from the bottom right to the bottom left, scouting with your Overlord if you're Zerg anyway. Alright, so let's see what Solar's third base timing is right now. He's got speed, he's got his 2 queens, he's got a handful of lings. He's probably going to start... Oh, you know what? More drones. And he's sending the one over here for the 230 hatch. Okay, so we're good. Everything is just fine and dandy here on Solar's side of the map right now. An adept for harassment and for scouting for Astrea. Nothing too crazy there by any stretch whatsoever. Making a stalker to get rid of this pesky Overlord. And creep spreading, yeah. So you notice that Serral, we talk about this, right? Serral goes for the tumor before the inject with this queen at the natural base, but most other Zergs out there just go for the inject and then try to spread the creep later. So, I don't know, it's fine. This is just checking the saturation of the natural base. It's not crazy high, it's not crazy low. Which just means that Solar's not doing anything nuts. There's really nothing non-standard happening right now here from Solar. Same story from Astrea, honestly. He's got an Oracle on the way. Oh, do I have an Oracle name? I think so. I have not updated my list in the last couple days. Oh, no. All right, this Oracle's name is going... You know what we're going to do? We're going to name him after Chadwick Boseman. After Chadwick Boseman, unfortunately, died. Just, man. I know this is a Patreon cast. For some people, it's going to be like a month and a half ago, and some people, it's going to be recently, but... Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, played Jackie Robinson, played Thurgood Marshall, I believe. Really, really talented actor. I really enjoyed him a lot. And apparently he's had colon cancer for the last 4 years and succumbed to it recently. So just really, really sad news. Seemed like a pretty good dude. I don't really hear any complaints about him. And it's just, life is short. Just hug your loved ones. All right, so coming on in, Spore timing was just perfect for Solar there. And Spore timing at the natural looks like it's going to work out pretty well, too. There's 2 queens there anyway. The third base, does not have one yet, but out of energy. No, you know what? No. You get... Astrea not really recognizing the potential of being able to get in there and shut that down. And as a result, Solar gets away with a late third Spore. Although the queens are here now, but there was a window. That's what StarCraft is. It's just a group... and a bunch of tiny little windows. Oh, Astrea. Astrea going Fleet Beacon, multiple Stargate off of 2 base. Is he going for them carriers? Is what I would like to know. So Adept's shading out, and I don't think Solar has any idea carriers are on the menu right now. He is going for a lair. So potentially he could go for a Spire, but not for some time. Roach Warren it is to try to deal with these Adepts. Although, if he notices, they're not Resonating Glaives Adepts. This is not some kind of a 2-base mass Adept play. He's got some more shenanigans ready to go. That Fleet Beacon is almost done. +1 attacks coming in for those carriers too. Do we think it's carriers or some kind of crazy Tempest shenaniganry? I don't know. Trying to get a 3rd base here at the gold, which is, you know, fairly easily accessible 3rd base against Zerg, to be honest. But yeah, 2 carriers on the way at 5 minutes and 40 seconds is bonkers. Okay, it is a Spire, so I think he's got... I don't know. I don't know why he's going Spire. Maybe he's just worried. He knows Astrea loves his carriers, right? He has a general inkling of what's going on inside Astrea's head when he's playing a PvZ. So look at this oversaturation of the natural base. The 3rd base is coming up. The main transfer is going to happen. And is this... Man, Chadwick Boseman's got 4 kills. It's not bad. It's really a pretty... Oh, there's 2 of them here. Okay, so 4 kills and 1 kill on each of them. All right, not bad. Could be worse. And a 4th base coming up finally from Solar after Astrea's 3rd base is already done. And really should be saturated. There we go. Now bringing the probes over to saturate that gold base for the income for the minerals. Because interceptors are not free. Is he still getting more kills with these? My goodness. 5 kills and 4 kills here. That is 9 kills on those oracles. They're doing work here today. That is 9 drones down in the first 6 minutes, which again, not game endy. I used to have a theory to where if you lost 10 drones in the first 5 minutes or so against a really good Protoss, you were pretty much toast. Still hiding. I love this placement from Astrea. Yeah, man, he's making 6 Corruptors. I think he's just doing process of elimination right now. He doesn't see any Immortals. He doesn't see any DTs or High Templar. It's gotta be Stargate, and if it's Phoenix, then great. Corruptors are gonna be good against that. Man, if it was Mass Void Ray, though, ooh, that would be tricky for Solar. Mass Void Ray would just be his death. Anyway, it's not, though. It's carriers, thankfully, and my gosh. The last time I saw a professional game where Protoss went carriers against Zerg and won, I feel like was sometime in 2019. I could be wrong about that, but by golly, they just do not pack the punch that they need to be worth what they cost, and Zergs just have the answer to them. Solar's been around long enough that he knows what's what. So the Corruptor count is 11. The carrier count is 4. It's not super ideal for Solar, but it's pretty good. Shield battery is going to be useful here. This Ling Roach stuff. The Oracles get on out of there. Chadwick Boseman and friend run for their lives. Yeah, roaches. Any roaches you have when your opponent's going Sky Toss is just not. They're not going to be great units, is what I'm saying. It is some Void Rays, though. Okay. All right. And this is a War Chest game. War Chest Team League game. And here we go. Corruptors focusing down the care. Trying to shield charge that guy. Trying to overcharge it with the shields battery. Not enough to get through the DPS that those Corruptors are doing. Corruptors flying back on in for even more. Roaches trying to get some stuff done. Yeah, the Void Rays are real scary for those guys. The Roaches are like, look, our utility is basically done at this point. So anything we can kill before we die, we hereby accept wholeheartedly. I don't know, he's getting some probes. It's not bad. 9 probes have gone down. Get the sentries. Oh, he's just running and dying. That's not as good. Not good. Not good. All right, so Astrea needs a 4th base. His carrier count is at 3. He's got 2 Void Rays. He is warping in a bunch of... Ooh, High Templar for an Archon transition is kind of hot. Corruptors are useless against Archons. I like it. I like mixing some Archons into the mix. I like having some Void Rays in the mix here, too. I mean, this is a composition that lower level players are going to die to pretty much all the time if they are Zerg. Unless they're good with Abduct, unless they're good with Parasitic Bomb, unless they're good with Neural Parasite. Like, eventually it comes down to Are you good with the spellcasters? Then you can beat this. Although Solar, no indication he's doing any of that. He doesn't have an infestation pit. Which, he needs an infestation pit for any of them casters I mentioned previously. So we got ourselves a robotics bay on the way to. Maybe some immortals. And there's your 5th base from Solar. Still no 4th from Astrea, which worries me. There we go. I was worried. Oh, I'm super worried. This is not happening. This is the problem when your army is carriers, is they're not fast enough to respond to threats like this at all. Not even close. Corruptor's cruising on in. And what are they going to cost? They're going to try to caustic spray down the Stargates, maybe. Just straight up the main Nexus. Alrighty then. Goodbye. That was exciting stuff. Meanwhile, the carriers are on the other side of the map, just killing queens and drones and all sorts of stuff, as the Corruptors are not here. And then once the Corruptors show up, you just recall them out. So 8 drones go down. I don't know about the Corruptors hanging out here, but there's the recall. And they all make it out. They recall back to the natural base. 4th base going to be a problem here. Astrea needs that 4th if he's going to try to compete. Army supply is 105 to 118. Astrea trying to keep pace right now with the Zerg player. Doing pretty well. Corruptor count fairly high, 21. It's still only 3 carriers, though. I just might be over-making Corruptors, y'all. But the problem is, there is a Roach Ravager army here from Solar, so he's smart enough to know you just don't go mass Corruptor in this situation. This is post the nerf to Banelings. So Banelings don't do as much damage versus non-light units as they used to, which is really nice for Protoss and Terran. And that 4th base of Astrea just getting chomped on by Zerglings a little bit. Just a little bit. Zealot run by attempted, but Solar sniffs it out and shuts it down hardcore. Resources lost for a 12-minute game. It hasn't been much. About 10,000 to 8,000 resources here. It's not a huge number. Infestation Pit finally coming in, as Solar recognizes that he will need some casters to win this game. Crucifix's killing his own changelings more than anything else there for Solar, unfortunately. The Lings rolling in the backside while the Roaches and Ravagers zone out the army. This 4th base, Astrea needs it. He needs the 4th base to compete. Okay, well, he's just kind of giving it up. I think he's worried if he moves out to save it that the rest of this army will just wander into his 3rd base and kill that. Which is maybe more of an instant death than anything else, you know? This is just such a pokey little game. It's like little pokes here and there. Oh, they do get the Void Ray. And that carrier is down. Oh boy. And the other carrier is probably going to die too. But Stalkers blink on in. Try to save it. Roach is not going to do well here. Ravager is going to do pretty good for themselves. And chasing off the Corruptors. Yeah, 2 more Corruptors in. He just wants to have a nice little Corruptor ball. It's not a massive Corruptor ball or anything. Just enough to handle the, you know, the Void Rays and the carriers that do exist. And the answer is it's 1 carrier right now and no more being produced. It seems Astrea has fully transitioned out of that carrier play. Yeah, just mathematically, this is where things gets rough. So Astrea is going to try to take for a 4th base this back alley base, which I feel like you probably should have done a while ago, but better late than never, I suppose. This Baneling Ravager thing is really good against this Immortal Stalker play. Solar just has the right composition at the right time for what Astrea is trying to do. Alright, Baneling's off creep, not really accomplishing everything they'd ever want to. They get one Zealot there, and that is about it. Greater Spire coming in from Solar here, too. That will be pretty desperate for Astrea to deal with. He really doesn't have much by way of Greater Spire Broodlord killers, you know? Bit of a Baneling bus attempted here, coming into the 4th base. Doesn't accomplish much other than killing one cannon. And did force 2 High Templar to become an Archon, which they'd rather be High Templar as far as base defense is concerned, but it's fine. Man, this yellow on orange is so hard to see on the minimap, but been warping in Zealots here from time to time. Another dead Warp Prism. Oh my gosh, if the Greater Spire goes down, that's huge. 74 HP and alive. Solar has this gold base as well. He's just economically kind of outstripping the Protoss at this point. There's really nothing more than I can say about that. It is only 35 drones to 14 probes. Dang, Astrea has 14 probes left. Hang on, that's not right. 6. Okay, that's how many have been lost. Right on then. Great storm attack on this gold though. 17. We need to see that. I said we need to see that. Yeah, the units lost tab, Falcon. You got this. Let's focus. So one drone. Oh, and then he jukes down the backside as he tries to get there, and he's dealing with this Zealot, and then doesn't see this happening. And 17 drones down over the course of the last couple minutes here. The Broodlords are out. And the gold base does get sniped. Alright, so Astrea doesn't lose a base of his own, but does end up killing a base of Solar's. That's exactly how he needs to get back into this game. Does he have enough Blink Stalkers to handle the Broodlords is the question. They are, you know what? The Broodlords are kind of out in the open, unsupported by anything. If they're just A-moving here, I think the Archons and the Stalkers can handle it pretty darn effectively, but he very smartly waits, stops, creates more Broodlords. The Archons are like, so what's going on over here? Ah, yes, I see. Terrible, terrible things. Wonderful news. A Ling run-by attempts. Kind of getting sniffed out by Astrea last second and getting shut down. There are 2 Zealots from Astrea coming across the map to Solar's top right, which literally has no base defense whatsoever. Unless you want to count the Queen, which I guess you could do. These are +1 attack Zerglings with no armor upgrades versus +3 Zealots with no armor upgrades. So armor upgrades seem passé today. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Ah, there's the blink forward, and wham, one volley. And Broodlord's getting wiped out. The good news for Solar is that he still has 7 of them. If there are only maybe 4 or 5 Broodlords, that's a lot easier to pull off. If there are, 10, then suddenly there's still a bunch remaining. Don't ya know? Yeah, I still feel like this is just a matter of Solar being able to win this game. He has an income advantage. He's had an income advantage for most of this match. Astrea really hasn't been able to keep up. I love this carrier just wandering out here to die for freeing up supply purposes. When did he make another carrier? He was out. He was out of carriers and then decided not to be out of carriers. So Solar's got the 181 to 168 lead right now. Economically, again, he's doing great in comparison to Astrea. The Broodlords are here. There's really no attempt to go into Tempest or anything, even though the tech exists for Astrea. So I think he's just trying to deal with it using Blinkstalker, which, again, is fine as long as you have enough Blinkstalkers and there aren't too many Broodlords. Especially if the Blinkstalkers have +3 attack, which that bonus damage they get versus armored is hugely important. More Zealot shenanigans up in the top right here, trying to kill some more drones. He's really trying to slow down this economy. It's only 56 workers to 64 probes. I don't know. Astrea doing what he can right now is what I'm trying to explain to you. Which, this is how you have to play against a Zerg player, as good as Solar is. I know I said that Solar is not like a top tier, top super tier, Cyril Raynor type player here, but, you know, rogue style player who just won GSL last season 2. But, you know, he's a top 16 guy, maybe a top 12 guy in GSL, which is not anything to shake a stick at. I guess part of the problem with GSL is that it doesn't include Cyril or Raynor in it, which... Man, like, can you imagine how different GSL would be if Cyril and Raynor were competing in that thing every season? Maybe players like Solar would get bumped out of that top 16, right? So, it's hard. Hard to measure. Man, Astrea is just kind of everywhere with these little zealot attacks. Look at these drones fighting for their lives. Oh, the storm dodge. Nicely done. Banelings crashing in. Lings that Archon's not going to finish. And yeah, Astrea is just basically like, I'm going to make it so that you cannot just push with your Broodlords and win. I'm going to be everywhere. Force you to respond to this army. Your Broodlords are too slow to respond to anything. Dude, these Zealot... He is sneaking Warp Prism attacks. Did he get the Spire? He got the Greater Spire. There's another one, though. Ah, it's here in the natural base. Smart. Good location for it. And then the Broodlords do manage to finally get up here to the northern quadrant of the map. The top right quadrant of the map. And, oh, that was not a great blink. Ugh. He blinked into Broodlings. That's some bad stuff for sure. I don't... Something... Oh, they recalled back. That always makes me feel like something's under attack, but... Not necessarily the case. Enough Lings in here. Still only have +2, mind you. We are not upgrading the Zerglings anymore. We're back into carrier production. Astrea is just kind of back and forth, back and forth. If he can... That's the thing. If Solar is caught by surprise here, and carriers show up, and suddenly his Corruptor count is only 2? The problem is carriers take approximately 300 million years to complete. Oh, this is an undefended base of Astrea's. Dude, you can't be doing that, laddie. Banelings going after that. A bit of an Artosis pylon there. A little bit. This pylon's getting some good coverage, and so is this one. I mean, this base is dead. It's more for the production facilities that you're going to have a problem with it, but... Yeah, Astrea's at 132 supply. He brings the carriers into play. He doesn't even have all of his interceptors yet. Corrosive Bile's trying to take down these carriers, which, okay, that's exciting stuff. One Corruptor remaining, but one Corruptor not enough versus 2 carriers, especially not if the carriers have +1 attack. Dude, there's no way. This cannot possibly work for Astrea. If he kills all of the Broodlords here, Solar doesn't have much of a bank. Ah! Corrosive Bile kills both of the carriers! How brutal! Oh, that makes me sad. Alright, well that's your GG. Astrea's going to lose his newest source of income, which is... It's usually the death knell in these games. When your newer sources of income get wiped out, not much you can do about it. 176 to 116 total supply. And a heck of a good attempt out of Astrea. Really kind of gave Solar everything he could handle. But at the end of the day, Solar just too much Zerg, too good with the macro. And that's really what it comes down to these days. It's just too much Zerg macro that people die to if you're Protoss. Is they just have so many workers consistently running so many bases. And, I mean, you want to look at the income? Actually, hold on. The income is not super in anyone's favor right now. Are you killing the Blink Stalkers, man? They're doing work today. That is, how many drones killed? 79 drones have been killed today. I don't know, may have called this perhaps a little bit prematurely. Maybe. But Astrea has just not been given any moment's rest, is the problem. He's trying to get this 4th base up. He's never been able to get it going. Those are completely untouched mineral fields there at that potential 4th base location. These Stalkers, I mean, they finally, I think, maybe they're just done running. These +2 speedlings are mean, with adrenal glands, of course, because we've had Hive Tech for some time now. I don't know, it's not like Solar's maxed out, right? Alright, so Solar loses one of his bases, loses 6 more drones, which again, he can't necessarily afford to lose many more. He's only at 30 right now, but Astrea's going to lose his whole main base is a bit of an issue. He's got a couple Void Rays, speedy Voids, of course, here to try to kill some of these Zerglings. You know, every unit that dies here is kind of important. Maybe I called it too soon. Solar doesn't exactly have a ton of gas income, but he's got 6 Corruptors, which is good. But it is 5 Void Rays and 4 Carriers. The upgrades are still only... Oh, that's +2 attack for the Sky Toss. +2 flyer attack for Solar here. Solar trying to take a base at the top, just kind of sneaking a bit of a ninja one, consistently sending Lings across to make Astrea worry about his production facilities, which is entirely fair. Dude, Astrea's bringing his whole army home to deal with this, which leaves this wide open to dying. I think you just have to let it go, man. If he had DTs, that would be a little bit nuts, actually. Sends 1 Void Ray home to deal with this. Here's our engagement. There you go. Prismatic alignment is up. The Broodlords are getting healed up, but not super well. 2 Broodlords die instantly. One of the Void Rays is almost down, but not quite. And the Broodlords getting obliterated with Storm in the mix. Just overkill. Corrosive Bile trying to kill these Void Rays. Storm all over everything. There's no way Astrea wins this, is there? Suddenly, that Spore's a bit of a problem. There is no Prismatic alignment left on these Voids, and that's your good game. Ah! There was a moment there where it looked like Astrea would be able to pull that out. There really was, but at the end of the day, just too much Zerg. Army supply 71 to 23. The main base was just toast. No main base for Astrea anymore. His income was better. Actually, better than Solar's pretty heavily. But being able to rebuild a Skytoss army is just not a good thing. And especially when your production is getting killed by Zerglings. Then it's really hard to rebuild a Protoss army. Alright, so the end of the day there, 58,000 resources lost for Solar, 52,000 for Astrea. That's about right for a pretty close PVZ. 32 Corruptors died, 10 Carriers went down. Again, those 2 Carriers that died of Corrosive Bile, that was rough. That was rough. Only 5 Void Rays died. There were 4 at the end of the game. 18 Broodlords went down. That's a big number. Huh. Anyway, end of the day there, nicely done by Astrea, but Solar comes out on top, as was probably expected by most of you, but still, Skytoss games are kind of few and far between and fun to watch. I hope you enjoyed that one. So that's going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of a Patreon cast. For those at patreon.com/Falcon Paladin, before anybody else, go ahead, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Patreon, Facebook, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.